Welcome back to the channel, guys. Turn back now if you want to maintain your sanity. If not, today we're popping open the arcane tome to reveal all the secrets of preparing your miniatures for a Call of Cthulhu game. Some of you may not know about Call of Cthulhu. It is a role-playing game, kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, but with a horror theme. You can play it usually without miniatures, but I prefer using miniatures. So I've got a selection of the figures. I 3D printed these. Started off by base coating them with a primer, grey, and then for the cultists, although it may look black, that is a very dark blue. It's called Midnight Blue from Game Color. Once that had dried, unfortunately I didn't have any footage for that piece. I then went to work on some of the details on the miniatures. And so for the cultists, I wanted them to be quite simple. So that's a dark blue cloak, and then their sort of sashes are red, and then they've got some sort of bronzy decorations around their necks. So quite simple, but quite classy at the same time. And then one of my investigators, who is a librarian, I decided I'd give her red shoes, just to, well, why not make it a bit more interesting. So Call of Cthulhu is traditionally set in the 1920s, although you can play it in any period, from deep historical to the modern world. Next up, I've used silver from Game Color, and for this I'm literally just doing the daggers which the cultists have, any of the firearms that the adventurers have, the axe heads, just anything that's metal basically. So yeah, it's a very fun game. I do enjoy a cooperative game every now and then. I mean, I'm very competitive when I'm wargaming, but it is nice sometimes to actually work with your friends, your family, rather than trying to beat them and just play against the game. And Call of Cthulhu is a game which I find is very, very fun. Usually your character will go insane before they get killed. Usually running away is the best option, because at the end of the day you're just a human and you're fighting against giant monsters. It's kind of the same as, would you honestly stand a chance against a grizzly bear? Probably not. Even if you had a knife, you're still going down. So consider going against something 3 times that size with tentacles and all sorts of things. Yeah, you're gonna die. But that's part of the fun, investigating and trying not to get ripped to pieces or go insane. Now, some of the characters, the males especially, are wearing suits, and so I've gone for grey on this chap, using uniform grey from Army Painter. 2 of the others I did using leather brown from from Game Color. And yeah, for some reason some of the footage didn't record, so that's what you'll see them later on. They're sort of browny sort of colours. And then also there is a chap who's carrying an axe. He could be used as a player character, or equally he could be a crazy cultist type guy, and so I just painted his t-shirt in grey as well. Now back to our Librarian Lady. I decided I'd give her a nice green dress, and so I used German bright green camo from Model Color, and I think it actually stands out very nicely, so quite happy with that. Although my fashion sense is atrocious, so probably anyone that does know anything about fashion will tell me that the colours that I've chosen are not good, but I don't know, I think it looks smart, so all good. All good with me anyway. Then again, maybe I've played too many times and I've gone insane, and that's the reason. Now we're going to use yellow from System 3, and I was using this to just do a few small bits. One of the characters' ties I did in yellow, and then the second girl, who she could be a singer. She could just be a heiress type female. I decided her dress would look quite nice in yellow, so painted that up. System 3, yellow does come out quite nicely. I watered it down just a little bit so that it was smooth, and then applied 2 coats, and then later on, after I put the dark brown wash on, went over and highlighted using the same yellow, and I think it actually came out very nicely. But yeah, as I was saying, Call of Cthulhu usually set in the 1920s, although there are versions set in the Victorian era, medieval, Dark Ages, Rome, and modern day. So really, whatever period you're interested in, you can create it. I think there's some for the Napoleonic Wars as well. Yeah, it's all about the characters and the story and the investigation into what's happening, and you're trying to track down what has been happening and why it's been happening, and you're doing research and tracking people down and all sorts of things. But at the same time, there's usually a cult or something of that nature that are actually tracking you down at the same time, and eventually you will collide. So next up, I've used Magic Blue from Game Color, and one of the characters is like a school or university student, so I just painted his book blue, and then our axe wielding chap, I decided he would have some blue trousers. Maybe he's wearing jeans or something. He's a bit of a, I don't know, labouring type, so it seems quite practical that he wouldn't be wearing a suit. Next up is our good old flat flesh from Tamiya Color. Again, just add a little bit of water or flow improver because it does have that tendency to sort of go a bit gloopy. But as long as you keep it moist, it goes on nicely and gives you a nice coat. Quite a sort of a bright, fleshy colour, unlike my hands, which someone commented once as being white as snow or something like that. Which, yes, they are quite pale, but I have a job that keeps me inside all day, so. And then I have to paint miniatures on my days off to keep all of you guys happy, so there we go. But yeah, for playing Call of Cthulhu, I think I've only had one character survive more than 2 games. Yeah, the first time we went had short-term insanity after seeing one of his companions have their head crushed into pulp by a tentacle. He got busted out of the insane asylum for the second game and didn't go insane, but his car lost control and he went into a tree, and although he didn't die from the crash, the monster caught him and ate him. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Try to get away from them. Although sometimes if you can get a couple of players together with sticks of dynamite and Thompsons and shotguns, you might be able to bring down some of the mid to small large monsters. Cultists, they're quite easy to kill. They die just with a gunshot to the head, just like we do. That's one of the things about the game, is your hit points are very low, so you can die from most things. And now we're using Ice White from Game Color just to pick out a few of the final features. So again, 2 of my chaps, the 2 who are wearing the brown suits, I just gave them white ties. And then this chap, after I've done his tie, he also has quite a big bushy moustache and sort of, I don't know what you would call it, but a tuft of hair that runs around the side and to the back of his head. So I mixed up a little bit of grey into the white, so it's a very pale grey. Pale grey? Yeah. And just touched up his facial hair using that. And then after that's dried, unfortunately the footage didn't record. I'm not sure why. I think I actually ran out of space. But anyway, I used a dark brown wash and coated all of them, cultists and player characters alike. And then when that dried, using the exact same colours that we've already used, I went back over them and just picked out the fine details. And on the cultists, again they've got this sort of jewellery necklaces, so I used bright bronze from Game Colour for them. Then it was just a matter of touching up the bases, putting a bit of flock and sand on, and they were all set. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you think the miniatures look quite cool, and I can't wait to play a few games using these chaps now. Anyway, please like and subscribe, and please leave some comments down below about what you'd like to see next. If you have played Call of Cthulhu before, please leave some examples of the things that you enjoyed or didn't enjoy in the comments below. But until next time guys, take care, don't go insane,